It's now officially time to get those car care questions answered. We have Baffle Bill in studio. Bill joins us from Raid Air Complete Car Care. Thank you for sticking around.
Yeah, let's see how we do.
We have a ton of questions, so I want to get started right away. We have Audrey in Brecksville, and she writes, there's so much technology in cars. If I update my phone, do I also need to update my car?
Wow, great question. Short answer is maybe.
Maybe.
So some cars do have software updates. Now it's not something that you're going to do through your screen and over the air, but manufacturers learn problems as time goes on, and they make software fixes to fix some of those. Sometimes when parts get replaced, it also goes along with a software update. So when you take your car into the shop, and they might say you also have to update your PCM or your BCM, those are modules and computers on the car that sometimes get software updates.
So is this also something where, if you're quarterly saying, I have to make sure my car is in tip-top shape, like you should have a list of all the different things that you should really check? Or is this something where Raid Air just really comes into play?
This is something we would bring to the client's attention that,
Sure.
hey, that your car's due for an update because of this reason.
Okay. All right, the next question, this is Abby from Parma, and she asks, why do some cars have blue tips on the tire nozzle?
It's probably a green cap that's on there. So, and the reason it is, that indicates that tire is filled with nitrogen rather than just air. So nitrogen reacts differently to temperature. It doesn't expand and contract as much, and it provides almost better inflation in the tire. However, the air we're breathing right now is 78% nitrogen, so there's not a huge benefit to that. But that's why there's green caps on those.
All right, I did not know that. All right, now we have Kristen, and she writes that she's usually at a soccer field. She wants to know, do winter tires really matter on cars?
Depends where you drive. So yeah, if you're in the first snow belt, secondary snow belt, and you're constantly commuting, probably want to look at a good snow tire for your vehicle. However, if you have a relatively new all-season tire, maybe you're driving a front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive vehicle, that would also perform really well. But if you're traveling a lot in those snow belt areas, snow tires make a big difference.
Well, and I have a new driver in my house, and my husband and I were just talking about this. The car is in great shape, but because it's going to be the first winter, I feel like I want to put those winter tires on just for peace of mind.
Yeah, a little bit. So what they do, winter tires react better in the cool temps. They don't harden up as much. They're designed for the cool temperatures. They're designed to move ice or rather snow and mush out of the way. It helps with braking, traction, and steering.
Also speaking about winter, because even though it's only fall, it's going to be here before we know it. Is there a washer fluid that is particularly needed for the winter, and does it really work? Because we've seen it, but is it just a marketing ploy, or is it really more effective?
Just about any windshield washer fluid you're going to buy in the store will handle Cleveland winters without a problem. What keeps it from freezing is alcohol in there, and that can actually evaporate over time. So if you don't regularly fill it up and use it, you could actually freeze even though you're using rated winter window washer fluid. However, if you feel better about buying something that's a little bit better in the colder temps, go ahead and do that. But the last thing you want to do, like Rain-X, is a different color, it's a different mixture. You don't want to mix that with the regular blue window washer fluid.
Because I think I've used the purple one. Is that the winter one?
That is, that's one of the winter ones.
All right, and then also wiper blades. How often do you replace those?
It's about once to twice a year. With everything that kind of sits on the rubber, it sits out and getting beat up by the UV rays. You really should be doing it 6 months, but sometimes it can last as long as a year. A pro tip here, clean the edges off when you wash your car, and that'll help them last a lot longer.
And then the last question, the New Day team and Ben want to know, how are you planning on celebrating your birthday today?
Oh, on New Day Cleveland, what better way?
How old are you, Bill?
Oh, God, how old do you think I am?
I'm not even going to answer that.
No.
You're not as old as Raid Air is, because Raid Air is 50 years old. Is that right?
I'm 3 years older than Raid Air.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure having you. And obviously, raidair.com for more information, and you can find the nearest location.